One of the sessions that I'm going to do in great detail, more than I've ever done before, is the CTR session. So this is something that, there's so many folks doing CTR, teaching this kind of stuff, and just the methodologies, and some do well, some don't do well. My goal at the conference is to provide extreme clarity and also an understanding of why you're doing this and when you need to use this application and know exactly the when and the why and the how. I think that's been a real gap in the learning where it has been provided, but it's been incomplete, but also the understanding of how to adapt to different situations. That's been the one thing, because CTR absolutely is not a set and forget application, even though in a lot of cases it's portrayed that way. But if you want to do it well, if you want to become a real expert at applying this technology, you need to know where to adjust and where the wind is going to take you. So one thing I'm going to go into in great detail is something I have created many years ago, actually, called the Whisper Method. Well, essentially what it is, it's a multi-campaign layered approach touching as many modalities of search that support the entity. So when you approach things like that, you realize very quickly that each campaign is not the same. And there's very key reasons for that. One of them being that Google shows us which of the main modalities they prefer for a given query. And when I say modalities, what I'm referring to are the different types of consumptive content that are shown for a search. So you'll see for certain particular terms, video might be favored, image, map. There's a whole host of different types of content. We like to run traffic to hubs. And if you're part of our group, then you'll know what hubs are and how we teach around that. But these allow us to benefit from both the impression and the click-through on both URLs and also iframes. And hub properties by themselves are very powerful. One example is a Google site. Another example of a hub property, one of the most powerful ones, is an RSS feed crafted in the way that we teach. Very useful. And at the event, we'll be going into much more, including specific actionable applications of CTR, proxies, both recommended setup and implementation, some of the things that I do on the back end that really ensures that you are really maximizing your investment in your proxy setup, how to determine optimal frequency and what terms to use, precisely where to send CTR traffic for any situation. That's a big question mark that I always get questions on for folks that are just starting to learn this, and also how to blend in expertly. The more natural, the better. Measuring results and knowing when to double down, how surge, schema, and external assets factor into CTR, and much more, much more. Here's just some recent results, and it's interesting because all of these results I'm going to show you are using maybe about 20% of the method. So there's more that we're going to be doing with this. By the time the event comes along, I expect this to be all green, but this is a very difficult term in a very difficult area. This is AC installation with no modifiers whatsoever. And this is about a 3-week time frame. There was a previous provider that was hammering away at this. I think they were doing it for upwards of 9 months and really not getting anywhere. In 3 weeks, you can see that we've gotten them into the 3-pack, and we're starting to expand out from there. And then their calls have responded accordingly. That's been good. This was just Appliance Store. So this is in Vancouver, but the query was not using Vancouver. This was about a month ago. And this is just today. Again, just a very, very light application of part of this method. Yeah, and it's been very consistent. So, I mean, you'll understand after seeing the presentation kind of why we did this initially, and now we're going to be doing for some of the additional locations. So this was a nice one that actually one of the members in our mastery group I was helping out, and this was Web Design Kelowna. I think this was about a month ago, but it didn't take a month to get some good results. Right now, as of this morning, we're at a solid 2 for the entire area. So they already started pretty well, but this is where they are now. Yeah, so that's just a very small taste. I'm going to be doing 2 sessions, but the first main session is going to be on this topic. We'll be going much deeper into things like data set and some of the RSS schema that we've engineered. It's probably the most powerful schema implementation, and we were the first ones to do it. But there's some other things that I will share at the event that we haven't even done in our group yet. So you guys are going to get that exclusively.